$180. The budget is 27,000. So the bottom line is, for the month of January, we had $19,623 income, and we're budgeting for the entire year $11,500 income. Any questions? If not, that's the financial report.
Hear a motion to approve financial report.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Sorry. I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Old business or manager's report.
As Mike said, we have had trouble with tank pumping. Our pump freezes up. We try and pump below about 28 degrees. We knew with this weather coming on for a couple of weeks that we had some fuel coming down on the motor. We were afraid that we were going to start a fire, lose our truck, so we took it in to get it fixed. We think our parts that got ordered were ordered out of Texas. We think they were in that 100-car pileup. I just talked to Cleve Beckman today. He doesn't know when those are coming. So I've got a list. Lynn County has to have, now Bourbon County's, I'm sure different. Lynn County has to have licensed haulers. So I got a list from the guy and asked who all the licensed haulers were. And only 2 haulers can dump in Mound City. That's us and Bill Shadden. Bill Shadden fired his truck driver. He's got a new driver, so he won't come out and pump. I've called every other one on this list. I have the guy that pumps Tanglewood that was on vacation in Florida till Saturday. When I talked to him, he said he would be glad to help us out if when he got home, if I could get it to where he could pump it or dump at Mound City. I talked to the city, told him our situation, said I'll have our driver drive right with him and use our card. It's probably going to cost more because there's about $40 just in our driver and the pumping, and then whatever he wants to charge. But we ought to be able to offer them people some kind of a pump to get them pumped out. I've called him at least once a day since Sunday. I've still not got a phone call back from him, so I don't know if he was too busy at Tanglewood doing their pumps or what, but we're working real hard trying to get that situation figured out. And the cold and the snow, we've had some time shut down over here with frozen pipes. We're still lacking on help a little bit at the clubhouses. So the snow and ice has hurt us a little on them. We've had to close a little bit. One thing I wanted to say, because we'll get into it in, I believe in old business, but our line of credit, we've had it down to 0 for a long time, longer than, I can't tell you how far back. So I called the bank because it's time to renew our line of credit. We have to do that tonight. We've been doing that on a 6-month basis. We've asked them if they do that on a year basis. They said they'd rather do it on a year basis. I also asked them, since we had our line of credit down, if we could get a better rate. We were paying 6.45%. They called me back. I called them back yesterday because they hadn't got back to me. They said they would drop that to 5.95%, 0.5%. So we bettered ourselves there. The kitchen at Sugar Valley, it's on schedule because we're working with volunteer help. The materials have been ordered. The hood, as you can see, is out of here. It is over at Sugar Valley to be taken up to the people going to install it, to do some rework on it. The guys that do the walls are talking like by March 15th. Hopefully they'll have them done. So we're hoping by the end of March, first to middle of May, April, the kitchen will be done over at Sugar Valley.
Do you have somebody lined up to do the repair work here?
I've got a guy that says he can do it. I want to talk to a professional because it's one of our workers that just done some work. And I think we'd be better off taking out like a whole sheet instead of patching. And
anyway.
Yeah, I think, and there's been a foot went through it. I'm gonna call a couple of people and see if they can, how much it cost us to fix that.
I just wanted to.
Proper. Yeah. But the kitchen's underway. The pool, it'll be open by the Memorial Weekend. They've been over and back and forth, and it's still fine. I'm still selling lots. I'm getting calls nearly daily. Cold weather has slowed people from coming in about the lots, but I did sell over $3,000 in lots just this week, so they're going good. I think that's pretty much all I got to say right now.
Any questions for the manager? Need to back up, guys. I missed minutes from the previous meeting. Has everybody had a chance to read those? So I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes from the last meeting.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Minutes approved. Old business. What about Robert Coon, A1 Tony?
Robert was supposed to be here. I talked to him either yesterday or the day before. He said, yes, I'll be there. And I haven't heard anything from him today, so I really figured he'd be here.
Fine schedule.
The fine schedule, Mr. Harding sent me an email. We have it here somewhere. It's the fine schedule process. That was what we had questions on. And, he's just reworded that. Basically, the rewording is all in the first paragraph to where it says,
Written notice of alleged violation.
yes.
By the agent.
He had covenants and restrictions, and I personally asked him, could that include the rules and the regulations? And that's what he's come up with. So I guess basically we just need to vote on that, if that's what we want.
You guys had a chance to look over that? Hear a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Mike moved to approve, as written.
Second.
Corey second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Bourbon County Hidden Valley lots.
I didn't know if, Mr. Harding's on his way. He thought meeting was at Sugar Valley. He told me, he called me right before I came back inside. He's on his way. I don't know if he has anything extra to say about the Hidden Valley lots that he's been talking to them anymore. I didn't know if the guy, because last meeting we kind of left it open. So I really figured Mr. Harding had probably talked to him and would have something to say about that.
What's the date on that again? It's not until like this summer, right?
On the,
Tax sale?
tax sale. Yeah, originally they were gonna have it, I thought they said February or March, but that had moved back to, I wanna say June or July now.
So we have a little.
I think, so I think we still do have a little time on that, whatever he comes up with. I don't know what they've been talking about.
You sure want to look that over good?
Yes.
What else you got?
Um,
Board members got any old business need to bring up? Anything else?
I think that,
Did we do anything on, I was trying to think of those. I don't guess at this point. Got anything?
We need executive session, didn't we?
I think so.
5 minutes, 10 minutes? What do you think?
Yeah, I'd say we
Shouldn't.
should
Five
take
minutes,
five
where's it
minutes.
going?
5 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Need a motion to go in executive session for 5 minutes.
I make a motion to go to executive session.
Mike moved, Corey second. Yep. All those in favor?
Aye.
For legal matters, personnel.
There's enough room. All right, let's close in the other room.
Did you get her printer figured out?
Part of it.
Part of it?
You still haven't started anything on it.
Well, I didn't figure she was. Until she gets it all figured out.
Yeah. You got the ink for the today.
Did she get it today?
We want that Saturday to do your prep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Malika, what, printer room like that. They didn't tell
Oh, I'm sure she does. I'm sure she does. But I keep telling her she does an awesome job. It was. They're an executive.
Okay. Well, how about if I were to stay distance and take this mask off too?
Yeah, hey.
It's not like it's crowded. You're supposed to be wearing a double mask now.
I wrote it down.
I'm not a Robert Lee, and I'm here to talk to the students about
Oh, okay.
the legality of getting some of the junk out of here.
Okay, well, thank you for
You
telling
don't
me.
have to do it.
I got a way to protect us all just in case. Is there more than one location with chemical stuff compiled over here?
Well, over at Sure's house, you've been over there.
Right as you go in that back entrance, I know there.
Are you talking about where the stuff said like it's stored?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that, down below.
You know what, I'll let Steve.
Like I have to worry about that.
I don't think I'm getting service out here.
Right.
I can't, I feel over there in the room.
Yeah, well, I sure don't. Well, I had that motion last time to have them over there, and I just. Can't do this without. We get ourselves in trouble all the time. I know.
End of executive session, no action was taken during executive session, which we can. Open forum. If anybody's got anything that they're wanting to talk about, from the audience, you'll have 3 minutes. Got anything that you want to bring up or discuss? Pardon me?
Not yet.
Well, I don't know if this is on the agenda or not, if you want to wait for mine, but I've got Robert Kuhn here to talk to you guys about the what I'll call the
We were
storage
wondering
lot.
about that.
Yeah.
We'll roll back to old business.
Go back to old
So,
Definitely.
let me introduce, this is Robert Kuhn. He owns A1 Towing down in Fort Scott, Kansas. I've invited here to answer you guys' questions tonight about what's to be done about the lot or any storage stuff we got here. So,
Let me just explain how it works. for my business and how it would, protect everybody in the event that we're taking property that doesn't belong to any of us and moving it. Versus on private property, so if you guys haven't already, if you would put it in your newsletter, so that's at least out there in your community. Because I'm gonna do the same, but not obviously gonna do, I'm gonna put it in a normal paper, whatever, Lynn County paper there is. So here's how it's done. You guys tell me, hey, we wanna get this thing out, this stuff's been here for years. I've lived here 21 years in this area, and I've seen those same campers and trailers, it seems like, for years sitting there, so I get it. We take down the VIN number for anything. Here's the deal, everything is supposed to be registered with the state. So it doesn't matter how long ago it was, I should be able to enter that information in cable because I have an account with them. I can run a VIN number just like a police officer could. And it should go back to somebody that I can notify. So I will send a certified letter to whoever it says to. If there's nobody to notify because the VIN number comes back, no record found, which can happen. Maybe the boat came from Missouri and nobody ever put it on their property tax roll and nobody said anything about it. It's still advertised in the newspaper. And I essentially start building a packet for each of those items. A copy of where you guys put it in your local paper, a copy where it's put in Lynn County paper, a copy of whatever the state said if there's someone to notify or not. If I notify someone, then the mail receipt, someone that I in fact sent them a letter, and then the duration of time goes by that stuff sitting in my income box. Nobody claims it, nobody addresses it, no one deals with it. They have a certain time frame. It allows from 14 days after I send mail order to over notify them in some way. They don't come get it and I just dispose of it. And my business keeps, if there is any profit to be had, looking out there, I think that's questionable. But, long story short, if I crush it, that's what I keep it crush rate. Otherwise, I know that there's somebody in that stack that says, oh God, I haven't lived here, but that's fine, and I want it great, and they just go to it. So it's not on you all or your community, it'll be on whoever owns that.
So how
So
long?
that same letter you're talking about, would that be a letter that you could actually send us and then us put it in the paper as well? Or do we have to write our own letter?
Well, I think for you all, it would be pretty short and sweet. There must be a designated, that was labeled somehow, right? I mean, you all would label that.
Storage area,
Storage.
camper storage, camper and boat storage.
Simple, and I think Burton can help you guys with the terminology for that is, hey,
So we
we
could
have
kind of
this-
build a form, just a kind of a generic form, couldn't we do that with?
Well, so to be clear what he's saying, he is gonna send out the letters to the owners. What he's asking you to do is to broadcast in some way to loudly that we're getting rid of this stuff. If you wanna
Okay.
come get it.
Yeah,
Newsletter
Okay.
or paper or
And-
something.
Right, and so,
very, very generically too, hey, Sugar Valley storage area on such and such interest, if you have boats, RVs, or any personal property there, you need to have it removed in the next 2 weeks. After that, A1 twenty recovery, and coming and removing the rest, it will be at your expense, period. And I'll get a copy of that from you.
so, and just so you know, they only do a newsletter mailer once a year, which they just did last month. So what they'll probably do is put it on their website and put it on Facebook, and we can screenshot it and give that to you.
And that's fine. Because I'm still gonna do my due diligence from the legal aspect, and that is to run all those VIN numbers. I think it costs them like $13 a piece to run them. And each one I'll print out, whether it says no record found or solicited something. Solicit somebody, then we notify them via mail, certified mail. So we'll be building packets. This is one of the packets that there's something right to say, look, not only did this happen, but that community put it out there that they were shutting it down, closing it, that I would be the one doing it. There's been this huge legal amount of time to address this issue because of the property.
And, I'm sorry.
And so, probably it won't happen, but if some individual comes back 5 months from now and says, hey, where's my boat? I didn't know nothing. Within the Lynn County Sheriff's Department. Even they will know, because I'll make that known to them. Hey, this is who I am. I've they want to clean this up, they give you authority to haul this stuff out of here. Tell all the legal owners to get this addressed, we follow all these legal measures. Here's the packet for that vehicle, it shows we did this step, and this step. And we applied within the state rules. Um,
But you've been doing like this for a while, right?
Yeah, this happens, and it's simple with Walmart. Walmart will take the picture, we can get it out. You do that, we go pick it up, it's an impound, and I hope that someone calls me and says, I think, that local municipality, we let them know, same like all the sheriff's department, I will give them a list of what I'm taking out of your storage area. Here's the list, so they know if someone were calling, hey, it's been stolen. No, it's not, A1,
How many times do you get like drastic pushback from people that you remove?
hardly ever. Most people know, and the whole thing is that they know in this case, the stuff's been there, windows, there's no RV, there's no windows. They know it's junk now, they don't want to pay to move it. They don't want it, they don't want to move it.
And just to be clear, what he's describing, he's just explaining basically his business process. It really has nothing to do with it. You guys have no part of it. This is not some sort of, any sort of lecture of our responsibility. He's asking to help him build his file. He was asking us to publish so that he can put that packet together. But he's going to be responsible for building that packet. He's going to be responsible for maintaining that packet. He's going to be responsible for if someone calls. Our responsibility really begins and ends at asking him to remove it and then publishing the notice on Facebook and our website.
Simple enough.
Absolutely. And then from there, I handle it. And again, you know what, we're not hiding anything. The day that my judgments are there, I'm gonna let the county know, here's a list of everything that we've removed from this location. Started to publish on some of the lake websites or whatever you guys choose to do. I'll be doing the same. So it's not like it will be known where those items are. You know, I don't know, do you all know, are you privy, is there stuff that has been there not very long that maybe a resident thought that they could store there? And
I'm pretty sure everything there.
I drive by there twice a day, every day, and there's not one new item in there.
About 3 months ago, I seen a camper being drug out of there right then.
Yeah, I saw something got removed, but nothing in
And
there.
I don't, do they have to have a key to get into that? Steve, is it locked?
Yes, it's gated. They have to have a key to get in or
The
out.
gate was
So does this
open
work
when I
the
went
same
by.
way
and
with the
pulled it
lots
out.
over here with things on them?
we'll do the same process because.
It don't, and even though it's on private property, we have
Well,
the right.
It's on private property.
Well, no, that's not exactly. If it's a private lot and they own that lot, we can't. have
Okay.
them do it.
I misunderstood that. If it is an individual, members, and you guys want to remove, there's a point at which you can call me, but there are steps you have to take then because we're talking about association rules. And if you, as the governing community say, listen, we've had this meeting, we reached out to this person, we've given their opportunity, we want to remove, in that case, I would handle it different.
And he's talking about our fine process procedure. We would write them some sort of citation for violation of codes, give them notice, give them opportunity to be heard. If they don't show up or you know, if they do show up and you find they're out of code anyway, and they just don't do anything, that's when.
Absolutely. Then I could remove it, and I would get some information from you all, and still follow up on my part and say, hey, send them a certified letter. I picked this item up with the stay after property. You failed to comply with the ordinances, it was removed, you picked the property up at my location, and you have this many days to claim it. Same thing, still advertising the paper. It's a legal ad, it's extremely cheap.
Because over there, they have a place for those campers to sit, which there's not very many in there, because there's a lot more out in the open. But we have a lot of them here that have just sat here for years, growing up in the trees and stuff. That's the ones I'd like to see.
And you want to
Cleaned
clean
up.
up.
Yep.
And I think that that's well known to your members. Hey, we're turning over a new leaf. We want to clean this place up. Get this stuff addressed. And I have no problem with someone putting me out there. Hey, A1 towing is who we're gonna have, pick this thing up at your expense. Not at your guys' expense or the lake association's expense, not my expense, their expense. And then if they can't pay that expense within a certain time frame, it gets full public auction to dispose of.
I think it's a good deal. Is there a fee structure for this? How does that work? Is there a fee structure, or you just get the salvage?
No, I just get the salvage, and so therein lies where it has to, at some point in time, be lucrative for me, right? Like I'm a for-profit business, and so, um, when I go over there, for instance, to Sugar Valley, we're not gonna take it one or two at a time, or just make trips. I'll come in with a large piece of equipment, a 40-foot trailer, and use my semi-record crane, and we'll just set stuff down on it and take one trip, so it takes some expense out of it, and hopefully there is some solid value there. So in that situation, yeah, it is pretty hard for me to come up here if you say, well, listen, there's that one single wave of jet ski trailer, that's all we want out of here this week. There's $30 pressure there by the time one of my big records comes out, rollback record comes out here.
We get our ducks in a row, buddy. There's a lot of right.
Or something like that.
Do it in some batches where I come up here with some equipment and we take several pieces at a time. That's one thing that I could appreciate from you guys, if it make it a little easier for me financially.
But in order to do it on private, we have to send them the certified letters and stuff up front.
Whatever your bylaws say.
Right. You go through the fine process and all that.
Once we go through the process and, you know, we write them citation, we give them their opportunity to be heard, their due process, and they either fix it or they don't. If they fix it, then we're happy, and if they don't, then that's when we start talking to Robert and
Well, I think once somebody sees somebody's shit get pulled off their property, that's gonna kind of be that,
Change.
that's gonna be that light that goes off.
If they want it, they'll move it. If not, it'll still sit there.
But
As
the
far as,
first thing we need to do is get the Sugar Valley lot cleaned up.
Yep.
as far as our storage lot at Sugar Valley, because it is a free lot to members. And I know of, there was a trailer that's been in there forever, he just took it out, a boat trailer. It had some things stolen off of it, so they had to get a new tire and stuff like that. There will be a time frame from notice, I mean, whether it's from us or you,
So-
before you take that off, right?
well, you dictate that. So what you can say today, I mean, you guys can decide right now, right here and now, May 1st is the day. Robert wants you to come back May 1st. And then so next week, and I'm just made up May 1st, it'd be April 1st, but whatever. You guys pick out a date that you want him to come back and take that stuff. And then you, tomorrow or next week or next month, whenever you want to do it, go ahead and put it on your Facebook, put a notice on your website. Maybe have Michael built a 4x6 signed and posted out there, you know, as many, however you want to do it. You can dictate that time frame. Now, of course, he mentioned he has statutory time frames. He has to have, give him 14 days, for example. When he publishes, I think he's got to give him 21 days. I he's for no.
Yeah.
But so once you have to go pick it up, all his time frames take effect, but you guys can dictate when you want him to come and do it and how much time you want to give people before you, does that make sense?
I would agree with that. That being said, let me ask you a second. I hear you guys saying there's this, multi-year newsletter. There's obviously a phone number and address list. You guys have some lengthy list probably somewhere that has some information for these people. And in that, you know, if someone's moving or changing location, there should be changing address. People have to do their due diligence to make sure they're receiving mail. If it means enough to you for both locations to really get this place cleaned up, are you opposed to sending out a one-time newsletter that says, hey, we have to address this, the time's come. We're gonna start enforcing this ordinance in the Lake Association. This stuff has to be cleaned up, because weeds grow around, it's been here forever, it's a nice one, a nuisance. We're gonna start having it hauled out of here, so we can address this free location out of here on such and such day. Like Brooke said, you guys can solicit that. If we're gonna give somebody till April 1st, you know, spring's around the corner. From 60 days of receiving this letter, if you have stuff towards that location, you need to get it out. April 2nd, anyone's going to be.
Or maybe just the opposite, saying, we're gonna clear that lot. If you got junk on your lot you want gone, just get it down to that storage lot and it'll be removed for you. All you gotta do is get it to that lot. Does that make sense?
An idea too.
Great idea.
Invite people to bring their rec stuff to it to the extent they're able to. Now,
It's a good idea.
And we can do that here. We got a place right over here.
Cause I know of at least one person that's got one or two boats over there that didn't wanna try and put them on their lot, because they are planning on taking like motors out of the boats, they're like inboards.
but they're just stored there.
Or Robert, would it make sense, so I can envision somebody who's got a junked RV or camper or boat or something, but they don't have the capability for it because it's too dilapidated or whatever. Would you be able or willing to take a list of, to drive around the community and pick stuff up?
You know, I don't know that I would be opposed to that, but here's one thing that I have to be careful about. One thing that I can't turn into, I can't turn into garbage guy. So if somebody has a boat, just a fiberglass boat shell, there's no motor there, no frame there, no nothing. All of a sudden I've turned into the garbage guy, not the record company in the way that there's no scrap value to nothing. Now I have something that's not going to the recycling plant, and essentially it's less paying for you guys to be able to do this. Paying my company to be able to move this stuff is that recycle value if someone doesn't claim it.
So then if we put stipulations on, you said no fiberglass shells,
If there's a fiberglass boat and it's on a steel trailer and the motor's still there, it's just a dilapidated piece of junk that's got to go, that's one thing. But the second you have a bunch of your residents taking their trailer out, backing up and shoving the fiberglass boats off, now we have a pile of fiberglass that's got to go to the landfill at my expense or somebody.
I think that's opening up a can of worms
Yeah.
that we don't even wanna get into.
Absolutely.
I like your idea of, hey, get the trailer, it's gotta be metal, like, get your metal trailer, get your metal, whatever.
But the only thing is, I guess, so Robert's absolutely right. So if you are going to invite that, you're gonna have to put up some sort of monitoring to make sure people aren't dumping fiberglass shells, and that, you gotta post someone there, put a camera up or something.
Can't turn it into a dump site. And in that way, maybe it won't be the best idea for you guys.
Yeah,
to
maybe
invite
so,
someone
that's
to
not
dump,
good.
and then all of a sudden we
That's
have.
exactly
I'd
what
say
it'll
we
be.
better just clean up what we got.
Yeah,
Let's
Put
start
the
there.
notice out.
People start seeing
Clean
stuff
it up.
being.
I've been there, if you drive over there right now, I think there's
So-
5 or 6 different RVs of various sizes, 9 different campers, and
So Rob,
9 boats I counted.
Ron, let me ask you this, and I don't know if this is something they'd be interested in doing or not, but I know they're very motivated to get everything cleaned up. And I'm sure that some of these boat shells we're talking about are part of that cleanup. And I understand exactly what you're saying, that's the view. Is there some price point that, what is it, could we hire you to haul that stuff?
And that's something that I could do, and I could work with you guys on. You know, those same things, they don't have to be hauled one at a time. I could come up here, use my wrecker of the crane and set 3 or 4 down, strap them on, take them straight to the landfill, and we would do landfill cost plus $30 a piece or something to help cover some of the cost. I'm gonna work with you guys.
and that can be assessed to their assessments as well.
Well, it depends. I mean, yeah, if they're bringing it willingly and they want to pay the $30 or whatever, then yes, absolutely. I get, and that's maybe the best way to do it, to say $30 and we'll take care of $30 plus what was it called, the junk cost or what you call it?
Yeah, help cover some of that cost. So, that's the thing, there's a way to make it work. What's out there right now, if you just go up and look, most of what's out there can go to a landfill, or go to a recycling plant, even if it's me disposing of the fiberglass and a few items that are there, and then the rest of it going to the crusher. There's enough there where it would pay for a guy, pay for my equipment, and we could dispose of it. It's only in the event that we invited them, and then next thing we know, we just have a bunch of fiberglass shells out there in a big pile.
That's the only thing I'd be concerned about, if you're gonna
I don't think we want to.
open up a trash dump.
Let's start with square one and
Yeah,
maybe kind of evolve over time if it makes sense,
I think we need to go where we first started. And send the letters and whatever.
Okay, so then, what day do you want him to come and be here?
I think before the summer rush, so maybe late April, early
May
May.
1st.
Yeah,
May
May
1st.
1st.
So between now and then you guys will have to get out that letter that tells the community that, or however it is you're gonna go about that.
If we put it on the website,
Well, I'm gonna do it,
Facebook,
I'm gonna do it statutorily, like he said. But really, I think you need to go the distance to make sure that how many of your members are really looking straight to face? How about that?
Legally, don't you have to put that in the newspaper as well, though?
I will have to, yeah.
Or wouldn't we?
No, so, okay, let me, again, just for some clarity, if we did nothing, if we took no action and just had Robert show up and haul it all, he would follow the Kansas statutes and do his job and get good title and be done. And that may be it. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Robert, but I think what he's asking is just for our own insulation and insurance and also for his, he's asking that we're not required to send that letter, I don't think.
No.
He's just saying, you know, these sorts of things, it may be nice to go above and beyond just so no one can later come back.
And it
say
adds
we-
information to your packet.
Absolutely. And you know, if you're wanting to clean up some of these other lots anyway, I mean, maybe there's an all-inclusive letter you all can figure out, with Bourbon guidance to say, whether we're talking about that storage location, whether we're talking about Hidden Valley or Sugar Valley, we're gonna start addressing this. Paragraph 1, all of that stuff has to be out of that storage unit, like storage area by such and such time. A120 recovery will be taking it after that, and it will be at the owner's expense. Paragraph 2, we're also gonna start cleaning up individual places that haven't been maintained, following the ordinances of the Lake Association. If we contact you and we're reaching out to you and you don't address this within a certain time frame, A120 will be coming and removing those at your expense as well. And then you put it out there. Not only have they gotten a newsletter, or gotten something from you all saying, this is what we're doing, this is the action we're taking. But then once I have it on following what we have to legally, I'm gonna say, this is where I got it. This is where we ran the VIN. This is where I notified someone if there was someone to notify. If there wasn't, here's a newspaper publication where we're putting in the paper saying, is this?
So basically for us, all we gotta do is just do the notification.
Steve, how many lot owners do we have
I mean, lot owners,
that we would mail
When
out?
you send out the newsletter, how many newsletters?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
it's a good question. It costs us about $3,000. I know
That's
dollars. I
printing,
know
that's
dollars.
printing, folding envelopes,
Printing,
stamps, everything.
folding.
And that's the pushback.
That's on
with
labor.
paper
You can do
letters.
postcards a lot.
$3,000.
You can do postcards like sub 50 cents.
You even need to do that, but taking a letter, like you receive for a lot of things, the letter's not even an envelope. 3 folds with a staple,
True.
that's the stamp and phone number. Not an extravagant newsletter that we're printing, no envelope that we're paying
So
for,
on a bright yellow piece of paper or something.
a 3-fold with a staple in it. And maybe
That's how we do
more.
our newsletter.
That's how the newsletter comes out.
Yeah, that's how the newsletter comes
Still
out.
cost $3,000.
But it's 5.
But that's,
Okay, 3 or 4
that's,
pages front and back. You
Yeah.
gotta probably pay the labor to fold it,
So
staple
this
it.
is 1 page.
yeah, this would just be 1 page.
That one in February.
It's like
So
50
50
cents
cents
or 55 cents for postage for what we usually
I mean,
send
what
out.
would you advise? I mean,
Well,
there's
so-
gotta be personal responsibility.
Yeah, so I guess, I don't know. I understand and appreciate what Robert's saying, and I don't think he's wrong at all. I guess the counter argument I would give you, maybe or just something to think about is that, again, and Robert, correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't have to do anything at all. He's gonna make it all legal and all right. This is just really extra protection from us. So the more we do, the more protection we are. So sending out letters is really, I mean, I guess it's about the best thing you can do. Now, for a $3,000 price tag, maybe we don't care that much. You know, I personally would have a comfort level of a Facebook post and making sure we put it on our website and have a big banner at the very top and have that up for at least 30 days and make sure Robert's got screenshots of all that.
You can do
And
those
frankly,
myself.
again, I drive by it twice a day, every day of my life. And I mean to tell you, I expect absolutely nothing back. I have walked that lot. There is, anybody who claims that there's a value to them and there is lying.
Yeah.
It's delusional.
You could do
No.
text messages and voicemail drops too.
I just don't think, I just have absolutely no belief at all that anyone is gonna come back later and say, oh my gosh, you took my RV. I just don't, and letter or not. So to me,
Well, I'd say the main thing, the letter, I mean, if you want to go in on private property and take
Sure,
stuff like
and
the
that's
private
different,
property,
and-
that's a
and
different deal
that's
there.
entirely,
right?
yeah, I absolutely
But
agree.
we'll cover that with the farm
Yeah,
property.
that's a different conversation.
Let me play devil's advocate here for a second. Obviously, I would like to do this business. I take some time to go through tonight. Where did this get established where people were allowed to park in this thing in the first place? Because that's the resistance if there were any total junk there. I would
30,
agree.
40 years ago, right?
But
Mhm.
There used to be a barn there. It
It's
used
a,
to be covered.
it's a free storage, it's a,
some
amenity.
And they've
to-
taken advantage of it over the
They
years.
can park it there for free now. You turn around without notice, it's all gone one day. You can find that little old lady that comes down on the weekend from Kansas City, and she probably is never gonna use that boat that we hauled off, but now it's home. It's a personal thing. So, pretty small deal to find some way to put out some sort of notification, either it's not by mail. I agree, I don't think I simply don't know to that. And legally, I'm gonna protect you guys in what steps I'm gonna take, protect myself. Hey, I've come and I've removed this stuff at the association's request, and I've notified everybody. They've turned over a new leaf, and they're gonna start cleaning up all of this stuff. I was asked by them, because it's your property. This isn't some of the personal property, this is the association property in the first place. So you all can make that decision. The protection is that I'll follow the legal statutes that revolve around possession regulations. That's essentially what we're talking about here. Because the second that I put it on my truck, I possess it. So no, I have a legal obligation to notify the legal owner, if there is a legal owner. I'm gonna follow that process. I just feel like you guys are associations who allow this, and then if one day it's just not allowed, if there was no notice to anybody, what do you do? So it's not a newsletter, probably several will post it up, even if it's just on a piece of plywood. for your
Yeah,
maintenance
and I agree. I think Michael, he has a business sign, you can ask him, he might help with stuff.
Yeah, pop up a sign that said, hey, the gate's unlocked, and after such and such date, a towing company to remove all of this stuff. How are you guys gonna do it? A moving banner across your Facebook page and I know the Facebook page thing is pretty popular. I've actually been up here trying to post it on the board. Somebody popped up on Facebook, that was a member, and said, hey, we're with this car, and boom, popped up and says, oh, it's on address, it's over here. So I mean, there's some definite action.
There's a lot of action on the Facebook page.
Right.
Tell your friends.
Well, they could contact the office if they have something in there that is theirs.
Well, that would tell the department knows and say, May 1st, that all these are gonna be removed. If you have something in there that don't want removed or can't get off by May 1st, make sure you call Steve Spencer at blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And as far as the other thing, the willingness part, right? Maybe we see how smooth this goes, and this next go around, you solicit them and say, hey, A1's going to put on a deal, and they will for free remove any boats that you have on trailers, so that we don't have shovel off just junk.
Boat with trailers or complete
Campers
campers.
or whatever.
Campers, as long as we're talking, because obviously that's it, right? Whether you're hiring a scrapper to come in or hiring a professional company.
Mobile
like mine
homes?
with it.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. too.
Mobile home,
Uh,
single wide.
that gets pretty difficult. I'm not saying that I couldn't, not saying that I wouldn't, but we probably have to see those on a case by case basis. There's a lot of liability in those. I've moved several. Some of them are so bad that they're falling apart on the way out the door. The last thing I want to do is I have 3 skid loaders, but I don't want to have them up here, put the stuff at a roll off down through. That is a situation where I think you can get a demolition company. And there's several. There's Skid Allen has one, Sankers has one, and I think there's 3 or 4 other ones, demolition companies, so maybe somebody would kind of put it in a dumpster.
At our expense.
Well, I guess it depends on how you structure it. I mean, in a normal city, they would do that, assess it for the property, and if you didn't get that assessment paid at some point in time, the property reverts back to you all. That happens now, correct? You don't pay your lake association, and you at some point in time get that property back.
That's
In a
what we're
perfect
starting.
world.
That's what we're
It's a
instituting
very
now.
long process.
We just started. We have.
If you don't pay your dues for 38 years, you can take it back. That's all it is.
But if they don't pay their taxes in 4 or 5 years, it goes on the tax steps and resold.
So similar situation probably when it comes to particularly with home structures like that, that are so debilitated. If we're talking about something pretty small, you have to look at it on a case by case basis, but these bigger items, that's the problem. They become so dilapidated, you go to move them, they fall apart.
So Robert, what do you need, what action items do you need from us? Just pretty much green light, May 1st?
And probably some sort of a simple email that says, hey, Robert, we posted some notices of various locations on May 1st. We'd like you to come remove all that personal property at the owner's expense. So then I would have
Don't
that.
drag your feet on it,
You
get her
listen,
done.
Steve?
I agree. I agree.
So let's see how it goes. And then maybe if that works out well and you can get some volunteer residents that make life easy for a state employee by saying, hey, this 3 days of May, A120 is going to be willing to come in and bulk and take items as long as they're on a trailer or whatever. We don't care if it's tires here to, at the end of the day, they just have to have some sort of steel structure to it. So we don't haul the tooling car with lots of junk on.
Do we need a motion for that?
Yep.
Yeah, so you guys don't need to make, well, so the second thing he's talking about, that's another conversation in a later day.
Right.
Absolutely. But for right now, we need a motion to ask Robert Jr. Ayo and Towing to come May 1st to haul off everything in the storage area to develop.
At the owner's expense.
That's right.
I so move.
Mike made the motion,
I second.
Corey seconded.
Third.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Yes. Aye.
May 1st it is.
I'll send you a
Steve,
letter.
Steve or Burton will be getting me an email as soon as notices are posted.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate your time.
Thank
See guys
Thank
again.
you, Robert.
Have a good one, Bert. I hate to rush. See you May 1st.
Open forum?
No, I want to back up. What was it? Yeah, the Bourbon County Hidden Valley lots.
Anything new on that?
What's the story?
No, I guess I haven't discussed it since our last meeting. I didn't know that we were waiting. Was I supposed to get some more
Well,
information?
I thought he was gonna come with kind of a proposal as to what he was gonna,
Kind of a price proposal.
you know,
or something
if they
trade
bunched
off.
them up into one.
Mhm.
He was at a county commissioners meeting last week, and he proposed something that I couldn't hear what they were saying.
About Hidden Valley lots?
Okay.
That they were gonna have to turn them over to an abstract company and do title search.
Okay, so he's probably trying to convince the commissioners to do.
And that may be what was the video, the audio part of what they were doing.
So,
I don't know if you go back and.
so he's not here tonight. I haven't spoken to him about it since then, but I would say, I think it's safe to assume that whenever they do, that what we discussed is exactly what's gonna happen unless we want some changes. I mean, I think what they're gonna do, I assume until I hear differently, is they're gonna to do what he said, is he's gonna put all the Hidden Valley lots together in one package and say, and kind of put it out there, does anyone want any of these lots? And if someone says, yes, I want lot 42, whatever. Then they'll pull that one off, they'll auction that one, that person will buy that one, and then, and they'll do it for as many as there are, or need. And
We
then,
wanna make sure we have representation there.
sure, I can be there, that's not a problem.
I've looked through them all so far.
Yeah, but I don't want just any Tom, Dick, and Harry to be able to go in there and buy a lot like we fought in the past.
So, so
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
he will put them, again, it's all your, I expect, it's all your different, what I expect to happen, is you just package them together in one block. You'll ask if anyone wants to pull out anything from that block. To the extent anyone does, he'll pull those off in auction, so we want to have some there to make sure that we outbid whoever we can. And then once there's no more bidders on any individual lots, he's gonna say, okay, I've got 65 of them left, $65 for the lot of them. And then we bid on that and make sure we outbid anybody, and then they're ours to do it themselves however we want. And again, so then, well, I take that back. Then we'll have to do the quiet title deal, and that's something I'm still working through. If the judge is gonna let us do one massive, petition with all of them, because if that's the case, it's a no-brainer. You gotta pay a filing fee, an individual filing fee on every one of those 65, that's gonna get real expensive. But, that's something that I'm gonna.
Also, I think we need to be looking at, Bourbon County's getting a big plus out of this thing too by doing this, so I feel like we need to work on some kind of a tax abatement or something like this to help us, give us some time to try to move some of those lots down the road. Otherwise, we're gonna be paying taxes on, and I know they're not much, but when you add all those lots up, that could be some money.
Well, so, and that's true, I guess, but the only, I'll parrot Mr. Meese's response last time, which is, that's up to the county commissioners and they, for them to do or not do, and he seemed to think that, not so much that they weren't willing, but they may not be able, I can't remember what he said, but I guess, we also are getting a good deal insofar as even if we sell those for, $10 a piece, we've doubled our money. So,
If you can sell them, some of them are probably not sellable.
and maybe that's the case, but I guess what I'm saying is I don't, and I'm not arguing against the position, but I also just want to have our eyes wide open on this, which is we also have a huge financial benefit, potential financial benefit for doing it this way. So I don't want to blow it up just if we don't get everything we want, because we still stand to make a lot of.
Well, if they do it in a lump sum, that's a whole lot cheaper for everybody.
And then if we have, again, 60, 65, 70 lots to sell, I mean, maybe some of them are unsellable, but if we sell, one lot for $100, we've made money.
Still, we have to pay taxes.
Yeah.
Well, that's true, that's true.
So should we just ask that we made a proposal for Meeks then by the next meeting, or what they're thinking?
Yeah, I can ask them to come back next meeting.
Or even just kind of know what they're thinking, so we don't go in this blind.
I'll have them
Right.
just send me a little letter or memo or something like that with an update. And hopefully by next time I'll have an answer to that question about doing the five tiles on, I'm still working on putting one together right now to just as a test, to just throw it to the judge and see what she does with it, but it's been difficult to get the right mark there, but we're working on that.
Well, it isn't the same as me.
Yeah.
Okay, back to open forum. You got anything to say now, Vicky? Anybody else?
I have something that a member wanted me to communicate.
Yes, sir.
And Burton maybe has input. So a member reached out and said, what are the laws, bylaws, rules for parking boats, vehicles, et cetera, on the side of the road? Not a broken down car, but just they're keeping their car there in lieu of something else. Do we have any things set up? Are there any rules
I
that?
do not remember seeing anything in there, but I guess my answer is that the streets are your property. It's the community property. It's not a private, their lot ends, their personal property ends at not even at like 10 feet or, we've got a easement there. We got 10 foot easement. So we own every inch of the street and then 10 feet on either side. So if someone's parking something there that you don't like, call Rob.
Security ought to go by and talk to them first.
I think so.
And I'm being facetious, I don't mean.
Right,
that-
I understand.
But.
Is that something we could have security just give heads up to people that it's not gonna be allowed in the future, or that it's not supposed to be allowed, or
Yeah.
what's your take?
And this
I
is,
had to do that here a while back. There was a car broke down for weeks on a road that was very,
well, this,
very not used.
Well, this touches back on the conversation we've had the last couple of meetings, which is our codes are not sufficient. We need to beef these up. And right now, ideally, if this was a city, for example, we were in Mound City and someone had a car on the side of the road, we could write them a ticket, and charge them. You don't have that capability right now. You can give them a soft warning, have security come and say, hey, you need to move this, or it's gonna get towed. If they don't move it, we don't have, our only recourse is to tow the darn thing. If we write a code that says you've got a derelict vehicle outside, somewhere, you've gotta pay $10 a day till it moves, something like that. So right now, there's no code that I'm aware of. I don't think there is one that would govern that, which doesn't mean you don't have any power. Like I said, it's your road. But that may be one of those things we put on our list of things to discuss whenever we have our discussion of keeping up those codes.
No, we do have the power, because we have a 10-foot easement.
Well, I know, I'm saying that we
Well,
don't have the power to.
the easement is just for utilities, though, it's not,
Oh, it is.
right,
That's right. So
right.
it's kind of a
It's an
plug
easement,
for,
but
a little nail thing.
you can use the easement, you can
Right.
park at the easement, you can't park out the road.
And there's we're gonna have water lines to go put in there. There's
Right,
security
but I
issues.
mean, a car parked on top of the water line is not gonna be a big deal.
No, but if you don't want it there, that's your problem. And I'm not suggesting that we go out and tow everybody who's got a car out there. I'm just saying, you guys have the authority and the capability to govern those things.
So basically, we can send them a letter, tell them, please.
Well, security needs to go by first. just drop a
Yep,
button.
yep, yep, that's all.
New business, renew line of credit. How much is our line of credit, by the way?
I believe it's, in the bylaws, our line of credit is up to 2 years worth of assessments.
How much is the note for
If
the
I'm
bank?
correct.
What would this year's amount be?
$1 million. Then.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
I think our line of credit's usually like 70, 80, 90,000. something like that.
Is what,
Like 70, 80, 90,000. I think that's where.
less than 100 grand?
Yeah, I believe so. Don't quote.
But I mean, when you go to the bank and get the line of credit, have you seen the old line of credit? I mean, it states it now somewhere.
I don't remember that.
It's
Either we
way
paid off
down.
some
yeah,
last
we've got
year.
a certain amount.
I don't remember.
Well, we can look at that when we go over.
Are we loyal to our Mound City bank?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I'd
Can
say
I,
we need to
can I
keep
back
that.
up on one thing on open forum?
Let's finish this line of credit deal first. so-
Okay.
Because Steve needs to get this process started so we can renew it, so that we have it available in case we need it.
I have to have minutes over to them. Right now, we don't have any, we do now have a president, vice president. We have to have 2 signatures on every check we have, and a lot of other things. We've got to have the minutes to the bank stating that we renewed the line of credit, we made the motion, all this and that. We have to get them typed up tomorrow, take that to the bank, they have to make out the paperwork. Then basically, I'm gonna have these 2 go sign along with me tomorrow, if at all possible.
I'll make a motion to renew the line of credit.
Here, second, Lauren, all in favor, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Be sure and put that on the agenda next month, and I'll announce how much the line is
Okay.
available, just so everybody knows. Okay, Lauren, you want to back up? On open?
Yeah, you know, we got a lot of people running around with tanks. We're getting a lot of new people all the time building at both lakes. I seriously think it's probably getting close to the time to look at buying a bigger pump truck. With the one we've got on it only holds so much.
With the whole 1,500?
1,500.
One tank.
One pump.
Jeez.
Well, the only problem with going up to a bigger truck, then you have to hire a CDL driver.
Yes.
So is that
And they gotta
more
have
money?
Because
endorsement,
of the weight.
air brakes.
CDL.
Because of the weight is 90% of it.
Mhm.
I mean, like, if I brought my back truck in here, you have to have a CDL to drive that back truck, because it's 20 screw,
Right,
80
I
barrel
understand.
truck.
And you gotta have air brakes,
Right.
endorsements and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I just.
So that's the reason they've always had the smaller, like C5500, 65 or 45, whatever it is, I don't know.
45.
4,500. They keep it underneath that weight ratio. The same reason with the
So
dump
do we
truck.
need to look at buying another one that size?
Well,
I know it'd be more of an expense.
I
Go
got
ahead.
something, I did a lot of calling around like Steve did on companies. Harry's is getting out of business. He'd like to sell his business, but if he doesn't sell it, he'd like to piece out. And one of the things he pieced out is this truck. Now, I hate to say this, but my wife had an idea, just to throw it out. If we had 100 people that would give $700, pay for pumps up front, get 10 pumps for $700, you had 100 people, that'd be $70,000. I don't know what he wants for that truck.
It
but we
wouldn't
could-
be 70,000.
Well, I don't know what it is, but whatever the number is, and however many you need it,
Oh, mine would.
is a possibility.
That's a good, I like that idea. Get people to prepay for their pumps.
Prepay, they get advantage, they pay so much, but they get more pumps than they pay
They
for.
get 8, 10%.
And we're able to
off.
buy a truck without even having
So
to.
Bill gets 10% off or whatever.
I like
Well,
that.
if they put in 700, you get 10 pumps, that's $1,000 instead of 700, they get three free pumps, for example.
I mean,
I think that's a great idea.
I don't know what he's gonna want for the truck, it's a used truck, obviously, you don't think that
His
$70,000.
truck's a nice truck.
What do you think
I
it
mean,
costs?
huh?
You think it's less than 70 or more?
Oh, less. But I mean,
50?
it's a nice, he's kept it up and everything. I mean, it's not a piece of junk.
What do you think it would cost, ballpark?
I don't even know the year on it. Just remembering from, I've had him out on septic jobs before, pumping septic tanks. I'm gonna say it's gonna be less than 30 for sure.
It's
Why don't
feasible.
you get a price on that? I think that would be a good idea.
I can call him and talk to him.
I think that's
So you would have
something-
less people have to pay, you don't need 100 people.
If he-
We have 250
You
full-time
know, if he's,
residents.
if
It
he's
doesn't-
serious and we can get a timeline from him, that would be a deal. And
Just thought, we have an extra truck, second truck.
that'd be great.
And even if we had to pay him a little bit more to get the truck.
Can Harry
it
pump
would
when
save
it's
them.
super cold like that?
Well, my understanding is that Harry uses a blowtorch to free up his valve. Steve and I had some discussion about this and whether or not that's a good idea or not, because I mentioned whether we wanted to do it or not.
Well, like on my back truck, it's got a heater hose that actually runs heated water through it.
See, and that's, the guys that pump through the winter, most of the guys I've talked to, they have a setup of some kind that, our only problem, we've never had a problem with the valve. It's blowed up the pump, it's froze up the pump, and in 2 weeks.
By rights, it's not even supposed to have moisture in that pump.
Right.
It's just pumping air, it's all it's pumping.
Right.
As long as the rest of the truck is correct. When the truck gets full, the ball goes in a seat and it stops the moisture from
Yes.
coming down into the pump. You shouldn't, but things wear out and you get moisture in the pump and then it freezes and you kick the pump on and it blows up.
Mike, why don't you see how much that is? I think that'd be,
I can,
for one of
One of
you guys, yeah.
That's a good idea.
yeah, I'll give you.
Well, if
I
you're gonna,
mean, we're cash flow positive too, so I mean, money's not as big of a, hard to come by as it used to be.
you might, if you're gonna get a price, you might get, you know.
No, no, I don't want to do that,
If
no.
we can find it used, another one used
Thank
for
you.
comparable pricing,
Thank you.
or see what if it comes to a dealership, maybe that's something we're interested in, I don't know, but it might be, if we're gonna look for.
If that's, you won't find one any cheaper if this truck's in good shape than what he's got as a local guy.
And
I mean,
then-
it's
That's
a
going to a
used truck, but
dealership,
it's-
you don't, yeah. Well, you would know, you'd know with
I
good
mean,
pump
he's
truck.
kept it up.
Good idea.
Probably better than Bill said.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we need to review the committees, people that signed up on committees. Audit committee, we have 5 people signed up, we only need 4. Or 5 rather, there's, most of them's all from last year. Except for 2, so I guess we'd take the first one on the list. That'd be Diane's new, right? So that'd be Diane Chasteen. That would leave Christian Kurtzwig off. He would not be on the audit committee. Architectural committee, is that the same as
That
last
was
year?
the same as last year.
Exact same as last year. There's 5 members on it. They seem to be working pretty well with one another. As far as communications and whatnot. Beautification committee, have 1 member, Brenda Hallstrom. Sugar Valley Recreation, have 3, Beverly Crum, Andrew Sweet, and Tammy Rogers. Okay, we have 5 on publicity committee. Dave and Becky Zyla.
Wow. They could tell.
Brenda Hallstrom, Jeff Epler, Andrew Sweet. Got it.
Candace.
Hmm?
Candace.
Candace
I was just guessing. Could be right. Yeah, mine's right here. Rec committee for Hidden Valley, Rod Seif, Larry Tinsley, Ridley Wilson. Beautification committee for Hidden Valley, nobody. And publicity for Hidden Valley, nobody signed up. So, any comments or suggestions as far as committee?
Think we're good to go.
There's not a lakes committee in this stack, is all I can tell you, Earl. You are the lake committee. We didn't get a sheet laid out evidently, I guess. We'll do that next day. Put that in the notes.
Lake Committee.
Here, Lake Committee, I'll put it right here on the front.
She'll put it right there on them
Darn
notes.
right. Earl and Vicky.
I can give you one. Oh, what's his name from Sugar Valley? Rodman,
Ken?
Ken.
Well, he probably did, but he's gone. I mean,
Yeah, he's gone all the time.
a lot of the time.
Yep.
I wish I was.
Earl, what's that consistent of? Just, you,
Well, we're supposed to have a board rep.
you asked me that
Build a
last year and I
dog.
took it.
Doing docks and structure and fish and lake, making recommendations.
Let's do it.
He is a buoy.
Lauren's on there. Okay, we got a committee. Everybody in agreement on approval of the committees as appointed. Okay, committee reports. Lake Committee.
Yeah, I don't understand that whole process. One of the things that we asked Steve to do in the budget is to budget up enough money to replace the loading and unloading dock down here, because it really needs it, you know, I have to fix it. And I've gotten two bids. I got another one that's supposed to call me tomorrow. One of them was real reasonable, and they were $5,800, and it's max dock from, I think Ozark, Missouri.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that?
Yep.
Did yours?
No,
Well, he did Rick.
right, he did Mike's.
Did he do mine? Okay. He did mine, it was $5,800. I got one from.
How much?
58,
What size of dock?
it's a 12 by 4, or 14 by 4, 12 by 4 walkway, and then a 12 by 8 platform.
12 by 8.
Up and down, 'cause it's got-
It's gonna have pipes like his has.
I think I thought.
Has pipe anchors with sliders on it instead of having cable guy ties on it.
There's no wood on it at all.
And you told them that it's gonna be at that inflow? Okay. I mean, they've seen that inflow twice now, so.
It's galvanized beam, steel frame, concrete decking, and you have plated floors. And then there's whatever those two things are called. I asked that like a handrail on like the back side of it.
On the back. Okay, but not around the dock itself. Okay, cool.
Concrete decking?
No, it's 4 by 14.
replace like 16 by 16 squares.
They call them a mud hole.
Take them out.
Yeah.
So mud holes.
There's no, so if one cracks or whatever.
It's got like little nice one too.
They're nice.
2x2s, pads.
Yeah, it's out there.
I just drove down there and got
That's
one.
what the
That's a
court
pretty
was
fair
replacing
price.
all of those docks down at Take
That's
One.
encapsulated film,
It's got all
everything.
those concrete.
Yeah, that's
That's the encapsulated film, everything.
everything.
And
That's
it's
cheap.
installed,
Pretty
delivered and installed.
5,800.
Yeah.
We're looking for something that's gonna last a long time. We don't have to.
How are they? Did they say we had to pour any concrete for them to anchor to their
Well,
walkway?
This was just, what I said is we are looking for a bid on a pond dock to be used for loading and unloading our docks at the association lake. The walkway would be 4 by 14, and the dock portion would be 12 by 8 with ramps and railing on the 12-foot portion of the deck or dock is what I said. And so if this is something that we can pursue, I can get all the
We really did want to share it on too.
particulars.
Yeah, because
And get
like
it all
on
nailed
Mike's,
down.
he had to have a concrete wall for him to anchor the walkway to. Of course, he was going with a 20-foot walkway. And So they actually anchored it into that walkway and then guided it back both ways. But,
There's concrete down there, there are a lot of boats, but they've been there since
right, I didn't know what,
50 years.
if we was gonna have to pour new concrete down there, level pad or
That's a
something.
possibility. We might have to.
Okay, but that's something that maintenance could handle.
I would try.
And then, I think they could, and then I got another one from a place in Old Missouri, and they were absolutely ridiculous. Because they gave you a choice between premium and an aluminum fiber gate grade, which is like the strip stuff. I'm like, I think the premium would run $20,000 to $30,000.
I think that 5,800 trees,
Yeah.
built a dock a few years ago.
It's-
That's pretty more.
Well, and this is,
Right, you're gonna have tax on top of that.
yeah, it's what it says, this includes installation does not travel, which is $2 a mile for two roads. I mean, it was just ridiculous.
And they'll Max will deliver and set that up for that price.
Yeah,
Plus.
yeah.
Well, let's get a finalized bid from Max and
Okay, well, I can do that. Because then the other one.
Bring it
that I
back.
saw was in Marion, Kansas. They don't go this far.
because, the problem is, I mean, they're already 2 months out, so we need to get them,
Yeah.
if we're gonna get it down there.
I'd say get on it.
Yeah.
And that's total for the lake. I mean,
Right. Not gonna have to buy anymore.
we shouldn't have to get fish this year, right?
No.
Pearl?
No
We shouldn't have
fish
to
this
get
year.
fish This year, right?
They don't recommend that we put anything in this year except maybe feed them, buy little fish, feed
Right.
fish is what they call it. And then they will decide just like what we think we need to put in for next year.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where we're pretty good on that. I don't know what you guys have any need of sugar out of it or not, or if you think you're in pretty good shape over there.
I think we're in pretty good shape over there too.
But we just wanted to put stop and feed the fish and maybe some property like in December of this next year. That would be about it.
We ought to be in fine shape then.
What's that expect? We gotta have a lake inspection date.
Got anything else on the lakes? Any other committee reports? Audit? Got anything new besides what you already did?
No, we'll be meeting quarterly like we usually do, so in April, we'll be meeting for the first quarter. And if we can get together, we didn't have any problem this last time, so I think we'll just meet 4 times a year.
Steve, you got a architectural?
I have an
report?
architectural committee report from Tim O'Neill. This is the architectural committee report for February. The committee continues to review and process applications in a timely manner with no significant issues. In addition, we have developed a draft, which I've given you guys all a copy of. They'd like for you to look that over for the next month. And Tim O'Neill's on vacation. We'll be back at next month's meeting to talk to you about all these. A draft set of association definitions for consideration by the board in March. As we discussed this morning, that was to me, I have attached a draft of association definitions, which our committee has reviewed and approved for presentation to the board. The intent is to provide these to the board at tonight's meeting for information only, with the discussion to occur the March meeting. This will allow the board to have interim 30 days to properly review and comment. I and our committee would be available to answer any questions you or the board members may have during the interim 30 days. Feel free to provide them with my name, phone number, and email, which it is all on here on the first sheet. Again, the purpose is to simply use these definitions as an additional governing document, similar to the regulations we have for boating, ATVs, golf carts, camping, etc. This will not require an amendment to the bylaws or covenants. Should the discussion at tonight's meeting go beyond that, simple provision of the draft of the board. He said you can call me. I will be happy to give the committee report in person. He said otherwise, he was just basically giving this what the committee had kind of come up with to look over and to be talked about more with him there at the next meeting.
Love it.
Any other committee reports?
Nope.
Can we go back to open forum for 1 minute?
Nope.
This one time, next time I won't.
You got a new president, you gotta set the tone.
Actually, my question is to our attorney. My name's Earl Cat, and I work here, and I hear a lot of things about this. And one of the things that they keep telling me is this is Bourbon County, which is an unzoned county. That the association has no right to do anything, which I applaud you guys for doing, things like that.
So-
All they tell me is we're just gonna sue them, and there won't be no association. If people legally sue us, things like that.
No,
I
so,
didn't think so, but that's what I did.
so this is something that kind of touched on, we dealt with this at the annual meeting where people ask, well, when people move here, you know, can we give them, you know, the laws and the rules and stuff so that we know what they are? And we do that, but if you moved to Overland Park, Kansas today, Overland Park is not gonna come to your door and say, here are the codes of Overland Park, make sure you follow. You are expected to know what the rules are when you go, and you're bound by, if you choose to move to Overland Park, you have to follow the rules of Overland Park. We are not a city, but the same rule, law applies. We are a legal corporation, legal community, a collection of lots that are all governed, every deed has the same restrictions, covenants and restrictions. And if you buy a lot in Hidden Valley, Bourbon County zoned or not, you buy it with, it comes along with all those covenants restrictions that bind that deed, that bind everyone else. And whether or not you want to follow or agree to it is irrelevant. Your lot is bound by those covenants and restrictions. If you don't want to follow them, you don't live in this community with this homeowners association with these codes and these laws that bind your deed. So that is absolutely not true. Bourbon County is not zoned, that's true, but this community has incorporated in order to have these laws and these codes and all that. So that is not true, that's a misunderstanding of the law.
Well, thank you. I'm not opposed to that. I don't know about the law. You know, but I just wanted the legal definition of what you can't do.
Right.
Because I hear a lot of things that I know about.
And that's, again, that's not, if you go back to the founding documents, you know, they created the Hidden Valley Lake and it divided it up and it said, these are rules and regulations, covenants, restrictions that are gonna run with the land. And anyone who sells this property, that these run with the deed, they don't go away. And that's, again, common in any other property development or city. And again, county's different, and that's very true. Bourbon County's not zoned. If you buy a lot in the county, you can't make them do anything. But a lot out in the county isn't part of this corporation. And so these laws do apply.
That's what's happened through the years, that they kind of pull the bluff on everybody and think that they can get by with doing whatever they wanna do.
I've been here for 25 years.
Yeah, I know, so that's what we're trying to
I
overcome.
thought you guys, you got a rough road to hoe. I know you did. You got that to set feet.
No, they may have some rough road to hoe before this is over.
All right, we've got one more thing. November 19th of last year, we agreed to a contract with Burton for a 90-day contract. If my calculations are correct, it'll be up tomorrow, so, we need to discuss extending that or not, or
So,
what we need to do.
unless, my suggestion is, Steve, I think I owe you an invoice right now, don't I?
You what?
Do I owe you, I believe that you asked me, or someone in your office asked me for a itemized invoice, and I don't think I've gotten that to you yet, have I?
We got an invoice for,
But not
but it was
itemized?
just, no, the last two we've gotten, it's just been a
Okay,
generic
so then what I need
legal
to do,
matters.
I guess what I'm gonna suggest is, and I apologize for that, that's my office's fault. We kind of did a trial run of 9 days, just kind of see where we were at. You know, I estimated I spent about an hour a week doing lake stuff, is where we got that number from. So I guess what I'd like to do maybe is append this till next meeting, and I can get those itemized invoices to you so we can see what my time actually was instead of just my thought of what it is. And once we have a good idea of what my time actually is, then we can all make an intelligent decision on what makes sense on that contract. Does that make sense to you? So I guess what I'd like you to do is extend the contract 30 days, and let's talk about it in 30 days.
I motion to extend the contract 30 days.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll get that information.
See how easy we are?
One thing left to do.
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.